Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is September the 2nd, and these are some of the headlines on BizarreBiz.com. Black helicopters zip around downtown Los Angeles during urban training. American food banks are being overwhelmed by worst crisis ever. Musk promises glorious Martian City. Groundbreaking study discovers Honeybee Venom kills breast cancer cells in minutes. And an update on our jetpack guy. The FBI is probing the pilot's reports about him. Go jetpack, dude! All of these headlines and more on BizarreBiz.com.
BizarreBiz.com. Real news, no bullshit.
Apparently there's a bunch of military helicopters zipping around Los Angeles. It is quite the bizarre spectacle, but the Army's Night Stalkers do this sort of thing when they train in big cities, and they do it all across the United States, apparently. One of our readers reached out early this evening to The Drive and let someone know he saw a formation of 4 MH-6 little birds flying in tight formation over Interstate 5 near downtown Los Angeles. And the person who wrote this article said, I joked at the time that it will be just a matter of hours until people start freaking out due to the urban training operations they were likely about to execute. Apparently this dude knew about it ahead of time. And just like clockwork, a few hours after the sunset, the social media posts began emerging. People couldn't understand what they were seeing, and how can you blame them? Watching blacked out little helicopters, most of which usually run with no lights, ripping low over rooftops, landing on tall buildings and quickly departing and even flying down city streets is certainly concerning. An action movie will tell you that, but the reality is it's only the world's best helicopter pilots that are tasked with the hardest missions, practicing to fight future wars and to respond to terrorist incidents in what the Pentagon has dubbed mega cities. So on a side note, does that seem coincidental in its timing? There's no synthetic range that can provide a suitable training surrogate for such a demanding combat environment, so the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, better known as the Night Stalkers, skip across the United States throughout the year to major cities getting this type of training in. They are often joined by Navy SEALs, Rangers, and other operators that they are traditionally tasked with carrying into battle. Sometimes they even work with federal law enforcement, direct action teams like the FBI Vaunted Hostage Rescue Team, and folks from the intelligence community. This type of military operations in urban terrain training is precisely what people are seeing over downtown Los Angeles. Apparently on this page there are several videos, so you can check it out and see what they're up to. It just seems like it would be a little intimidating, if not a little scary. And also the timing on this. I'm not gonna go there. I think we all feel that something imminent is just around the corner. So there's that. It was just a year and a half ago that the 160th SOAR took their tricked out MH-6 little birds and a couple of MH-60 Blackhawks to the City of Angels to give performances the likes of which we have never seen. They descended in unison into parking lots and literally flew down city streets and assaulted a government building in Long Beach, resulting in a spectacular picture. It is customary for there to be little, if any, warning to the public that these drills are scheduled to begin, which always causes everything from great concern to outlandish conspiracy theories, except they're really not. This year, are they? Like, dude, it's 2020. Shit is popping off. In this first night of operations, they can be seen whizzing around downtown Los Angeles and landing and taking off from the tops of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority building. And they fly from place to place at night in tight formation. with just the lead helicopter with its lights on. The crews wear night vision goggles and use their advanced electronics to navigate precisely as a division. This is really spectacular to see in person. I bet it is. It's only once you're beneath them that you realize there are indeed 4 helicopters there, not 1. I bet that'd be loud as hell. Once they arrive in an operating area, they seem to be a force many times their actual size as they zip around the city for hours, dropping off and picking up on various rooftops and even sky-rise ledges. The night bends the public senses and perception, making the whole thing even eerier from a bystander's point of view, I bet. Obviously, with everything going on in the country right now and a spotlight on law enforcement and surveillance, the Night Stalkers' little birds are likely to drive in more hysteria than usual from an uninformed public. Well, I guess we're just totally uninformed. We'll have to see how it all plays out. We'll keep you updated as the Night Stalkers' latest visit to LA as the exercise expands. Well, we'll keep an eye on this one. However, the timing seems a little coincidental to me. Tell me I need to put on my tinfoil hat. It's okay. I'm used to it. I'll link this at bizarrebest.com. Workers keeping America fed are going hungry in the heartland. Hunger is surging in the heart of the breadbasket, showing just how dire the problem has become during the pandemic. Sitting in and this is by Jessica Traxler, who was surrounded by Katerina Saravea, Carolina Gonzalez, and Peyton Forte. From Bloomberg.com. I just wanted to tell you who I was reading it by. Jessica Traxler was surrounded by food that she couldn't afford. Sitting in a faded-out Chevy sedan, one July morning in southern Minnesota, she looked out at corn stalks, lush green as far as the eye could see. A few miles to the east, a mill was pumping out flour. Just beyond it, a farm grew peppers, beans, and berries. To the north, there were dairies, one after the other. To the south, huge pork plants. Grain elevators, poultry yards, cheese plants all stood just a short drive away. If one place underscores just how dire America's hunger problem has become during the pandemic, it is here, in the middle of the breadbasket that supplies food from coast to coast. The ranks of Americans fighting hunger are projected to swell 45% this year to more than 50 million. Traxler, her husband, and 6 children are among them. She's had to come to this spot, an empty school parking lot in the town of Mankato, to collect free boxes of food staples, milks and apples and carrots. Hundreds of Minnesotians wait in line ahead of her for hours. And this isn't just there. It's going on like in California. It's going on like everywhere. It's been hard, she said. We've had to dramatically change how we eat. With the nation pitched in a fierce debate over enriched and systematic inequalities, the most basic divide, who eats well and who goes hungry, is becoming more acute every day. Even before the pandemic, the U.S. already had the highest number of people who couldn't afford a basic energy-efficient diet among the 63 high-income countries. We're no longer projecting a surge. We're experiencing a surge in food insecurity, said Allison O'Toole, the chief executive officer of Second Harvest Heartland. And they provide truckloads of food to distributions like the one in Mankato. During the pandemic, about 1/10 of American households reported they didn't have enough food for any given week, and that's a shocking figure for the world's richest country. It's more than double pre-COVID figures and the highest since comparable government data started in 1995. And let's not talk about the fact that even before all this pandemic business happened, you do realize that good food costs more than bad food. So what choices do you have? If you make little money or little to no money, or maybe you make decent money, but you have to pay for childcare for 2 children that eats up your whole check, you have to buy shit food. It sucks, and it's not fair. In contrast to the Dust Bowl years of the Great Depression or the rationing of World War II, the crisis has nothing to do with food supplies. The U.S. is in a time of historic abundance with plentiful grains, meat, and dairy, so much so that farmers have been plowing over excess crops and dumping milk. But lockdowns have snarled supply chains, and food inflation is projected to rise at the fastest pace in almost a decade. Meanwhile, unemployment, low wages, and reduced working hours are diminishing purchasing power, all of which are disproportionately impacting women and minorities, as is food insecurity. So unless you have retained your job and you're able to make your bills and go to the grocery store, or maybe you only are working part-time and you've got all these bills, you have to go to the food bank. Demand at Minnesota's food banks is up 65% this year, and groups like Second Harvest say the peak has yet to come. The federal government, their $600 weekly supplement to unemployment insurance, which helped millions weather job losses and pay household bills, came to an end last month, and Congress can't agree on a replacement. The president issued a stopgap measure to provide $300 a week in federal support to most jobless benefit recipients, but the funds are only slowing moving into Americans' wallets at this time. And there are people like Traxler who didn't work enough previously to qualify for unemployment benefits. Her husband works in a livestock feed mill, helping process the grain that fattens the state hogs, poultry, and other farm animals. Meanwhile, the families had to give up eating meat. We have our mortgage, and then we have our utilities. We've really cut back, even the fruits and vegetables. Food is one of the last things on our list. That is awful. That should be like one of the first things on your list. And there's no hope. There's no hope. Americans, because listen, if you go stand in line for a food card, they'll tell you make too much money. You have to be practically effing destitute, living on the street to get help, or just out of prison. They help those dudes. No offense to anyone who just got out. Just saying. And then drug addicts take their food cards and sell them at the local freaking market so they can get crack. I know what I'm talking about. It happens in my city all the time. Americans are unlikely to be suffering from all-out starvation, which plagues parts of Asia and Africa, but many people in the U.S. cope with food insecurity by skipping meals, just not eating enough or eating the cheapest food available. That kind of diet can be calorie dense, but lead to malnutrition. Exactly, dude. For children, malnutrition can have lifelong consequences, including stunted growth and even impaired cognitive development. I'm not going to say names here, but there's somebody that I know who has suffered malnutrition, and there's like lines in her teeth because she didn't eat right. She was malnourished as a child. Terrible. Dude. And all of this is playing right in the middle of an abundant food production, even despite government and private aid. Minnesota is home to beef giant Cargill, Cheerio maker General Mills, and Spam producer Hormel Food Corp. All three companies have been donating to food banks, and the president's administration just dedicated an additional $1 billion to its program known as Farmers to Families Food Box Program, which is buying surplus supplies to deliver to food banks and other organizations. The emergency pop-up that Traxler attended was held in partnership with that program. Thank God. Even then, much of the food waste on farms hasn't been redirected because of limited logistics and infrastructure. And a Democratic lawmaker has launched an investigation into the food box program, citing a failure to deliver food to many communities that need it most. Hunger in rural America isn't new. Even before the pandemic, some of the worst areas for food insecurity were rural communities in the South. But this kind of massive spike in a place like Minnesota is a marker of how much the pestilence has changed the landscape. Even if you don't believe in the pestilence, because everything was shut down, that's the cause, the reason. So it doesn't matter if you believe in the virus or not, or if it's a hoax or not. The fact is we're dealing with an aftermath because of it. Now 1 in 8 people in the United States is projected to struggle with hunger. And I could go on and read for hours, but I will stop here. But you can definitely go on and finish this story for yourself. I really hope this gets better, but with a lack of logistics and support, I don't see it happening. And we're coming out of the growing season. We're going into winter. What is going to happen then? I mean, you would think that they would be able to freeze this stuff and distribute it later. I don't know. There's just no logistics on it. In any event, I will link this at bizarrebus.com. Elon Musk has detailed his plot to build a glorious city on Mars, but says early visitors will probably die. That's not exciting at all, Elon. Let me not sign up. The stargazing billionaire has reaffirmed his vision for a Martian colony that doesn't rely on support from Earth. Musk has previously told how his Starship rocket, currently in testing, will one day ferry Earthlings to Mars. And he said he'll need a fleet of 1,000 ships to create a sustainable city, as orbits mean the trip is only viable once every 2 years. Now, speaking at the Humans to Mars Summit, Musk says the journey won't be the hardest part. Getting to Mars, I think, is not the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is building a base, building a city on Mars that is self-sustaining. We're going to build a propellant plant, an initial Mars base called Mars Base Alpha, and then get it to the point where it's self-sustaining. That's going to take years. Musk is expected to begin orbital Starship test flights next year. The rocket is designed to be fully reusable and will allow for long distance journeys through space. But the early trips to Mars will be treacherous. I want to emphasize that this is a very hard and dangerous, difficult thing, not for the faint of heart. Good chance you'll die. Dude. Oh my gosh. It's going to be tough going, but it'll be pretty glorious if it works out. The SpaceX Starship rocket is still very much in the testing phase. He says the interior and cabin haven't been significantly developed for passengers yet. We've got to first make the thing work. We're making good progress. The thing that really impedes progress on this is the production system. A year ago, there was nothing there, and now we've got quite a lot of production capability, so we're rapidly making more and more ships. Musk previously vowed to put 1 million people on Mars by 2050. According to Musk, SpaceX aims to build 1,000 starships at a facility in South Texas over the next 10-year period. That's 100 rockets per year. A pretty tall feat considering the firm hasn't even built a single functioning starship yet. Eventually, the Tesla boss added the goal would be to launch 1,000 starship flights to Mars every year, an average of 3 per day. That's a lot, dude. Each trip would see 100 passengers make their way to the red planet to become citizens of Mars, mega city or die. Really? Musk was a little vague on what exactly colonists would do once they got there. There'll be a lot of jobs on Mars, he tweeted. The company based in Hawthorne, California is currently racing through various safety and engine tests to get the rocket ready. Based on his projections, it would take a fleet of 1,000 and around 9 years to carry 1 million people to Mars. So he's really only got until 2040. That's assuming the company really does manage to send 300 people a day, of course. And when you add 10 years required to build the fleet, the scheme needs to begin within the next decade to have any chance of meeting his 2050 target. Very interesting. There's more to this. I will link it at bizarrebus.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Genetic Nightmare. I'm here to tell you about the sweet, sweet t-shirt from bizarreabyss.com. Bizarre Abyss is also Bizarre Teacher and Bizarre Nurse. Please check them out here on TikTok. They have some pretty sweet and unusual news, not to mention sweet merchandise. Here is my shirt that I just recently got. Black holes eat matter. I'm gonna strut down the street with this shirt on. Oh, yes. Anyway, I hope you do check them out and check out their sweet merchandise. The shirt's pretty sweet.
Dude, it's Bizarre Best Headlines, 100% unfiltered. Disclaimer, I am not saying this is a cure for cancer. I'm reading to you about a study. These people say at studyfinds.org that honeybee venom contains a chemical that kills breast cancer cells in minutes. Studies show you should not rely on any information other than that of your doctor if you have cancer. I want to make that clear. However, in Netherlands, Australia, a groundbreaking discovery in Australia is giving new meaning to the term natural remedy. Using hundreds of honeybees, a new study reveals the venom in these insect stingers quickly kill breast cancer cells. Dude, that is amazing. People have been using honeybee stings for MS, I believe, too, in some capacity. Dr. Sierra Duffy says honeybee venom destroys multiple types of breast cancer, even the hard-to-treat triple-negative variety. Her study in the journal MPJ Precision Oncology finds that venom not only eradicates these cancers, it also breaks up a cancerous cell's ability to reproduce. It also contains a compound called melittin, M-E-L-I-T-T-I-N, which researchers say helps this natural remedy stop the disease with remarkable speed. The venom was extremely potent. The researcher from the Harry Perkins Institute of Medical Research says in a media release, we found that melittin can completely destroy cancer cell membranes within 60 minutes. That is amazing. In just 20 minutes, it breaks down the chemical messages breast cancer cells transmit to trigger both cell growth and cell division. The compound suppresses the receptors that commonly overexpress themselves in triple-negative breast cancer and HER2 enriched breast cancer. Venom was also tested against hormone receptor positive breast cancer cells and normal breast cells with a specifically concentrated dose of the venom. Researchers are able to kill 100% of those cells. Dude, get it on. At the same time, the study finds bee venom does little harm to the normal cells. Okay, dude. I don't know. I mean, is this coming to a hospital near you or what? The study demonstrates how it interferes with signaling pathways within breast cancer cells to reduce cell replication. It provides another wonderful example of where compounds in nature can be used to treat human diseases. Too bad we're killing the bees. There's that. She didn't say that, I did. Do all bees carry this special venom? Although there's around 20,000 different species of bees, the study finds not every insect can fight cancer. Tests on 312 honeybees and bumblebees from Perth, Western Australia, revealed bumblebee venom does not induce cancer cell death. Honeybees from other regions, however, share this special ability to rapidly stop the disease. She said she found that the European honeybee in Australia, Ireland, and England produce almost identical effects in breast cancer compared to normal cells. Researchers add Perth bees are some of the healthiest members of their species, while the study dissects live bee stingers to extract the melittin. It finds this compound can be successfully reproduced in labs. Frick yeah! So we don't have to kill bees to get it. The synthetic product mirrored the majority of the anti-cancer effects of honeybee venom. Adding honeybee venom to chemotherapy treatments can help current cancer treatments like chemotherapy. The report discovers melittin also forms numerous pores or tiny holes in the breast cancer cell membranes. Duffy suspects other cancer drugs may be able to use these openings to penetrate the cells and kill the disease. We found that it can be used with small molecules or chemotherapy such as docetaxel, I can't pronounce it, to treat highly aggressive types of breast cancer. The combination of their therapy and that drug was extremely efficient in reducing tumor growth. That's amazing, y'all. And using the venom from bees has been a medical remedy since the 50s. They've been studying it, but her team says it's only been considered as a treatment for cancer during the last 2 decades. And more research needs to, this is important, more research needs to be done to find out what kind of dose patients will require, because, you know, we're not small by any means compared to the bee. So, frick, that's great news. I will link it at bizarrebus.com. And finally tonight, an update on our jetpack guy. The FBI is investigating pilot reports of guy in a jetpack flying 3,000 feet in the air near planes at LAX. The FBI will be investigating an incident that took place near LA International Airport after an American Airlines pilot reported seeing a mystery man in a jetpack flying in the path of incoming jets on Sunday evening. I wondered how long it was going to take. Dude's in trouble. The FBI is aware of the reports by pilots on Sunday and working to determine what occurred. Spokesperson told Fox 11 on Tuesday. And last night, as I said, the airline's pilot reported via radio to control seeing a guy in a jetpack. Guy in a jetpack. Is that guy like fat man in a little jacket? Like that dude was never mind, it's a Saturday Night Live gig. As he was approaching LAX about 3,000 feet and 10 miles out for a landing, and in the video on the story, you can listen to the actual call to the control tower. We've moved up in the world, y'all. They have the call online. The second pilot also saw the incident, and the pilot's reporting it using visual flight rules, meaning there was plenty of visibility and it wasn't dark at the time. Based on research, jetpacks can fly high, but it's pretty uncommon. So this dude has done something to his jetpack. I can't help it, y'all. Can you imagine, just out of nowhere, here's a dude flying a jet. And then jetpack dude. Whoosh, whoosh. That'd be awesome. I'm so sorry. No one has come forward to say they were flying the jetpack. I wonder, did this dude take his truck out to a cliff, somewhere so he could get like a running start? Or did he just take off from his driveway out in front of his house? And then landed and went inside like nothing happened. Oh my God. Efforts to find out more from the pilot went nowhere. And representatives from American Airlines told Fox 11 to contact the FAA. The FAA said they turned the report over to the LAPD for investigation, possibly trying to locate jetpack guy. The LAPD says they performed a flyover in the area, but were not able to locate anyone that matched this description. Really? Because he's not going to just be walking on the street wearing a jetpack. 2 retired pilots who currently teach and consult on aviation safety say they would absolutely believe the pilot in the situation, given their trained eyes and visual awareness. The pilot estimated the jetpack was only about 300 yards out of his window. For now, it's a mystery on many levels. Some are suggesting it was a Mylar balloon or small helicopter. Dude, it wasn't. It was a jetpack dude. Go jetpack dude. Oh my gosh. All of this is very puzzling, potentially dangerous, and it's a mystery. Oh my goodness. As you can imagine, the consequences of a mid-air collision wouldn't be good for jetpack dude or the jet. What if he had gotten sucked into the engine and then it caught on fire and blew up and killed a bunch of people? That would suck. And jetpack dude would feel really bad about that. So jetpack dude, if you're listening, probably need to do that away from LAX. Maybe he wanted to land at LAX. It's on his bucket list, okay? Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. If there's any more updates on Jetpack Dude, I'll let you know for sure. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay bizarre.
Yeah. Make sure you take a deep breath. Think positive. Just saying.
Dude! Penguins given free rein to roam around the aquarium since there's no visitors allowed. That's awesome! Dude, look! He's looking around! He's loving it! I got a new section on the headlines page at the bottom called Bad Seeds. Matt Gaetz of Florida, 1st Congressional District, mocked the whole process by wearing a gas mask when reviewing the funding. You're a super freaking winner, dude. An Alaska airman has been punished for peeing in the office coffee maker. Dude, why? Like, why? Did you take it in the bathroom with you? Did you stand in the kitchen and whip it out? Clearly, this airman is dedicated to getting kicked the F out. He's trying really hard, y'all.